I remember the day she walked away as clearly as if it happened this morning. There was no chaos, no shouting, no dramatic goodbye. Just a stillness that felt almost unreal. That silence was the part that cut the deepest. She stood in the doorway with her bags already zipped, her eyes drifting anywhere but toward mine. The fatigue in her expression said more than words ever could. Hints of regret, weariness, and a kind of quiet surrender. All I could muster was a long breath and a small nod. Anger didn't rise in me. It had burned out long before. She left with everything that once defined our life together, the affection, the shared dreams, the history. But she didn't take the one thing I refused to give up, my self-respect. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't plead. I didn't even ask for an explanation. I already understood, or I believed I did. Maybe she found someone new. Maybe her feelings faded. Maybe she was simply exhausted. Whatever the reason, I knew I couldn't cling to someone who had already stepped out emotionally. So I let her walk away. I stepped out of the room quietly, grabbed my coat, and left the apartment. No slamming doors, no dramatic finale, only two people drifting apart without a backward glance. The days that followed were a hazy mess. Sleep wouldn't come. Food didn't interest me. There was only this heavy emptiness settling inside me like fog. Nights became the worst. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, replaying moments that no longer mattered. I tried to keep busy, working out, even going on dates, but none of it filled the void she left behind. People told me I was strong, that I was handling it better than most. They didn't see the quiet moments where loneliness hit like a punch. They didn't see me reaching for my phone, only to stop myself because she wasn't mine anymore. Eventually, I stopped waiting for her to return. Months passed and reality sank in. She had moved forward with her life and I needed to do the same. Or at least pretend I was. When the calendar hit a full year since she left, I wasn't expecting anything. I had stopped checking my messages, stopped hoping, stopped pretending I was fine. I had learned to live with the silence she left behind, to build a life around the empty space. I was not the same man I had been a year earlier. October 9th, I'll never forget the date. I had even scribbled it in my journal. 1 year. I made it. It was already dark outside. I was in my sweats, cooking dinner, music low in the background. She wasn't anywhere in my mind that night. Life had simply continued. Then came a knock. Not loud. Not frantic. Just a soft, hesitant tap. One I recognized instantly even though I wished I didn't. My chest tightened as I walked to the door. No one ever came by this late. When I opened it, I barely recognized her. Her hair was longer and tangled, her eyes red and puffy like she'd been crying for hours. Wrapped in a coat, yet still trembling. She looked smaller somehow, fragile in a way I had never seen before. For a moment I couldn't speak. The memories hit me all at once. Our vows, our laughter, our first apartment, the life we built. And in that instant I understood something painful. I hadn't fully let her go. I didn't know where else to go, she whispered, voice breaking. Every memory crashed down on me. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything. I stepped aside, unable to turn her away even though part of me wanted to. She sat at the kitchen table, a place that once felt like ours. I made a mistake, she said softly. The worst mistake I've ever made. I stayed quiet. Words didn't matter. She had created her own path and I had learned to survive without her. But seeing her crying across from me shook something inside me I thought had healed. I thought I wanted something different, she continued. I thought I'd outgrown us, but he wasn't you. No one is. From her bag, she pulled out a crumpled piece of paper, edges torn and worn from being opened again and again. I wrote this 6 months ago, she said. I just never sent it. It was a handwritten letter, raw, emotional, filled with regret. She wrote about sleepless nights, about wearing one of my old hoodies, about hearing my voice in quiet moments she couldn't escape. She wrote about the loneliness she hid from everyone but couldn't escape herself. When I looked up, tears were sliding down her face. I don't expect anything, she said, her voice breaking. I just needed you to know. And if there's even a 1% chance. She didn't need to finish. I understood. A year earlier, I would have gone to war for another chance. I would have begged for those words. But now, standing in that same kitchen where we once shared so much, I felt something new, honesty. I had changed. I had survived. I had healed enough to see what I couldn't before. I don't hate you, I said quietly. She nodded through her tears. I forgave you a long time ago, I added. But I'm not who I used to be. And you're not the same woman I loved. We're strangers now. She broke down, a soft, heart-shattered sob. I'm sorry, she whispered. I set her letter gently on the table. So am I, I replied. She rose slowly, like the weight of everything she had held in was dragging her down. At the door she turned back. I'll always love you, she said, voice trembling. I gave her a sad, gentle smile, the kind you give someone who meant everything once but no longer belongs in your future. And I'll always remember you, I said. She left without another word. No promises, no hope of maybe someday. Just an ending, quiet just like the day she walked out. Not all love stories end because of hatred. Some end in silence, growth, and acceptance. I didn't take her back. Not because I stopped caring, but because I finally cared about myself more. If you've ever lost someone you thought would stay forever, hit that subscribe button and share your story below. You're not alone. Real people. Real heartbreak. Real healing.